The Kingdom of Kush. Kush is classified as an ancient culture, civilization, and later empire. It was centered along the Nile River Valley. It existed from roughly 1070 BCE to roughly 350 Common Era. It had two major capitals in its existence, Napata and later Kerma, which was moved for greater security. This empire was founded on a governmental system of absolute monarchy. Its first true emperor was Piye, formerly called Piankhi, an emperor who flourished in the 8th century BCE. He was the king of Kush and ruled from roughly 750 to 719 BCE. The area is known as the land south of Kemet and was the home of the Kemetians before they migrated north. The Kingdom of Kush was an ancient kingdom in Nubia, centered along the Nile Valley in what is now North Sudan and southern Egypt. The region of Nubia was an early cradle of civilization, producing several complex societies that engaged in complex trade and industry. Kush's enviable position at the center of trade routes from ancient Kemet to the Red Sea and from the Nile to the south and the west brought considerable wealth from many far-off places. In addition, its cultivated areas along the Nile were rich and fertile, and the hills with gold and emerald mines produced bullion and jewels for the empire. The Nubians were also highly valued at being soldiers. By the 8th century, the king of Kush came from a hereditary line of Nubian chiefs, and under such kings as Kashta, Kush acquired control of upper or southern Kemet, and later his son would expand the kingdom, encompassing the whole of Egypt to the shores of the Mediterranean, was brought under his administrative rule of Kush. The Kingdom of Kush lasted for over 1400 years after it gained its initial independence from Kemet. It quickly became a major power in northeast Africa. In 727 BCE, Kush took control of Kemet and ruled until the Assyrians arrived, and the empire began to weaken after the Roman conquest of Kemet, which would later, of course, be adapted to Egypt, and it eventually collapsed sometime around 350 BCE. The Kingdom of Kush had some similarities with Kemet in the aspects of governance, culture, and religion. The Kushites built pyramids at burial sites. They worshipped the nectars of the Sirius star constellation, and they mummified the dead. Common iron and gold were two important resources for the ancient Kush Empire, and this gold helped Kush become a wealthy empire as it was able to trade with many nearby nations. Iron was equally important metal of that age, and it was used to make the strongest tools and weapons, which were ideal for their advanced military. In battle, Kush was also known for its famous archers, and the bow and arrow were often depicted in art of ancient Kush. Sometimes the region was known as the land of the bow because of the fame of the archers. The primary crops for these people were wheat and barley, but they also grew cotton for making clothes. The burial chambers, like the Egyptians, were below the pyramids, and many of these pyramids were built near the city of Meroe and can still be seen today. And besides gold and iron, other important trade items included ivory, incense, feathers, and wild animal hides.